That's a huge shatter. That is the biggest shatter.
Obviously, A is a little bit harder, so trying to get there quickly can be helpful. Both teams are taking B first now.
A lot of exciting things coming out for OWL. I'm excited to see these new teams come into play. Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of CGL Breakdown. It's been a little bit, but we're back here as the regular season the qualifiers have finished up for the multi-tier tournament, and we're headed into the postseason where, look, there's a lot of playoff series every tier with the postseason. Everything's getting finalized, so teams are getting set to battle it all out for that. We've had a couple other things going on in the world of CGL that we're going to dive into as well. But I am joined by the man Headrammer. Looks like Chiss is here. I haven't had the pleasure of talking with you yet, sir. So welcome and hello. And the man behind the glass, the one you can't see, the one that holds this all together, Mr. Sultan. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight, and thank you three for being along here with me. Let's start it off. We went through our 9-week qualifying season, and it was a wildly competitive season. A lot of great teams, a lot of great players shining out week in and week out throughout this whole qualifying session. Guys, I believe, was everyone here, maybe outside of Sultan, on a team? Some teams have qualified for the postseason. Other teams are now in the off season and should be joining us on Twitch when we get these playoff matchups streamed. Guys, if you participated, what were your thoughts going throughout the whole process? Anything in your individual tier that you saw, or people that shined to you, or players that you watched on stream that really shined to you guys and made an impact on you?
It was definitely a big, almost like it was very similar to the last season, but almost like on a larger scale. So last season, it was only Xbox NA, and we had about 55 teams. This season, we had 240 teams spread out across multiple platforms. So it was most of the same thing, but larger, and the level of competition just dramatically increased. Like last season, I played in Tier 4, where my team made it to the finals, and this season we moved up to Tier 5. However, at the same time, Tier 5's competition dramatically increased. We had, I think last season, the highest SR team we had was like, I don't know, maybe 43 or something like that, but now we have like teams that are 45, 46, 100 SR average, and the level of competition has just dramatically increased. And I think with the introduction of more kind of like orgs or orgs that just have teams in multiple tiers, we've seen a lot of the lower tier players also improve themselves and work their way up to play at a higher level.
Yeah, definitely building off that, because I actually do play in the first tier, and going into it, I'm thinking I was like towards the lower end of like platinum, so I'm playing against people who are typically in like the gold range of SR, and I'm assuming, these people won't hit their shots, so they're gonna kind of play poorly just because that's what their SR says. But you get into this really competitive team environment, and you're seeing, the carbon tier of the CGL, you have teams pulling out like GOAT comps, and they're running them really effectively. You have really high level like ult tracking and combos being used, and that was the biggest surprise for me, at least in my first season here at the CGL, was seeing kind of this really high level of play that you wouldn't normally expect in the first tier, but it's happening anyways, and it's making for really exciting matches.
I agree with you guys. I know as a player that floats around plat, gold, whatever, comp terrible. Like sometimes it's god awful for that, but you get into the team games, you get into where you have groups of set teams and people want the same thing as you. The games are better, you play better, and it's sad that sometimes you can't take that outside of that and use that in the competitive standpoint. But for this to expand as much as it did, to branch out into PS4, over into the EU for both consoles, it was great for the amount of teams that we had and how many stuck around, how many stuck it out to the end, and how many teams, maybe started out the first couple weeks, losing and not playing too well. But I know, as the guy that does the standings, looking through week in and week out, the number of 3-0s started to go down. And it seemed like a lot of these games were 2-1, or we even had a lot of ties. So that just shows you that throughout each tier, throughout each console, throughout each region, the competition level was very high. And, some of these teams, a lot of these teams are even. It takes you to play well on that day, that day that you have your game scheduled, to leave it out there. So we had a wildly competitive qualifying session, and I believe this postseason is going to be the best yet that we've had in CGL, and it's going to be fun to watch 15 or so tiers battle it out to see who becomes champion. So everyone should get very excited for the playoffs. The way we structured it, it works out perfectly. So if teams can take advantage of the time to practice the maps, everything's posted. OW Rules and Info channel in the main Discord server. Get your teams together, practice. You'll be able to know and scout your opponents coming up here shortly. Once I get some time to put through all the tiebreakers and get everything sorted out, everything will be posted so you guys can start scouting and start scrimming these maps. And, okay, best of luck out to everyone. And it'll be an exciting ride to see this CGL Overwatch tournament come to a close. But it also looks like we've started branching out into some other things. And, we're getting into the little battle royale and a little fighting game action. We just had an event. I believe, everything was yesterday, correct? For good old Apex. So I think we should slide on over that. But I do just want to throw out there, go to consolegamingleague.com and check the standings. Everything will be updated. I will make a post with tiebreakers. Hey, get hype and get ready to go.
Absolutely. Griff, do you want to talk more about that Apex?
Yeah, absolutely. So yesterday we actually, first, I guess, for those of you who don't know, my name's It's Me Chis. I'm the CGL's Apex Legends lead. And yesterday we actually had our first community tournament. This one didn't have a prize pool. We were testing out our format, getting teams familiar with it, getting ourselves familiar with it, and making sure that everything ran well. And it did. We had, I believe, 44 teams on NA that competed, signed up, and I think we had 12 or 14 out of EU. And it was really exciting. A big wave of involvement came out of that, and it was exciting to see so many people want to play. And we got some really, really strong teams competing in it as well. For those of you who don't know, the format we use is really similar to the Twitch Rivals format. So you get a point per kill, 5 points per wins. That was in a 3-hour window, so a little bit shorter, but we're going to be hopefully hosting another tournament again next Saturday, 7 p.m. CEST, 7 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully we're going to be making some small tweaks to the format, things like that, and building up to what we hope will be tournaments for Apex that have prize pools. And yeah, actually yesterday, out of EU, we had Top Stealer coming in and just absolutely dominating the competition. These guys had 5 wins and 224 kills in that 3-hour time frame, which is unbelievable. And as far as NA goes, we had Revitalized Red with 5 wins and 234 kills. So big plays. Those are more kills and wins than the Twitch Rivals pros are putting up when they're doing the 4-hour tournaments. So that just gives you a little perspective on the level of play we were seeing. And it's really exciting to see the server for CGL picks grow every day. So hopefully the tournaments will keep getting bigger and more competitive.
I think I have 5 kills total in Apex. I think I've played 10 or 15 games. I'm pretty sure I have about 5 kills. I'm definitely not good at the game.
Wow.
It's just insane for people to put up more stats than I have in the game in my entirety of playing it than in a 3-hour period. So how often do you see us running these episodes? You talked about running one next weekend. Is that going to be something that's happening every week?
So once we get the format locked in and we have more orgs, so right now, kind of the plan is we're modeling our tournaments after Twitch Rivals, at least for these like open community format style. We've been trying to get into the pro style scrims, which have been huge in getting people, at least on the PC side of things. The pro scrims are how you saw this like big emergence of these like pro players who were essentially unheard of, gotten to Apex, participated in the scrims, and then big orgs like Cloud9 signed Apex Legends teams from these scrims. So our goal originally was to run these scrims, let players showcase their talent, and then have them be picked up by orgs, a lot of which have teams in the Overwatch side of the CGL. But now we're seeing that there's this like huge desire for these weekly tournaments. So after we get the format set, we make sure we can get leaderboards and everything running smoothly. Hopefully we're going to be able to run weekly community tournaments on Saturdays around 7, depending on your time zone. And that's really our goal. From there, once we start to get more into it, hopefully we'll be able to put up prize pools. And that's when we'll get into kind of the more standard tournament format. But that's a little down the road as we still work out some of the kinks in our format and figured some more logistical things out behind the scenes.
Excellent. It sounds like it's going actually pretty well for how little this has been running already.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I remember the game came out like February 4th. Like a few weeks later, we kind of talked about it. Nothing really happened on the CGL side. And then like the first or second week of March, like some of the owners came to me and were like, all right, like if you want to do this, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay, we're going to set up like the separate Discord server. It's going to be strictly Apex. And we're going to like see how it goes. And now 2 or 3 weeks later, I think we have 600 or 700 people in the server already. Like 10 to 20 orgs, I think, from the Overwatch side have come over to Apex and are signing players to their 3-man rosters. So it's like blown up, and every day it's like tens of people are joining the server. So things are only going to get bigger from here.
For sure. Where do you see Apex in its place among the other battle royales?
So for me, Apex, I think, is going to have a little more. It's going to have a lot of longevity as a BR as a whole, especially because a lot of the gun mechanics are really similar to like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty. So you have a lot of these ex-Counter-Strike pros and Call of Duty pros who are moving over from that, are now streaming this a lot, and they're enjoying it because the gun mechanics are a lot more high skill based. But you also have this like unique legend aspect to it that's making it so you can get like very invested in who you're maining, who you're playing, things like that. So from a BR perspective, from a game as itself perspective, it's going to have a lot of longevity. In the BR realm, because of how high skilled you have to be mechanically at it, it has this big draw, and it's very exciting because, games like Fortnite, you get into these, it gets to the end of the game, it's been 20 minutes, and half the lobby's alive, you're boxed into a corner just hiding. Whereas Apex, you can't do that as much. A lot of the way the tournaments are run, kills factor into it. So you have people just madly like running about, but with their teams and engaging in these super like intense gun battles. So it's really exciting to watch as well as play. So I think as a BR, it's gonna only grow as it gets more exposure because of how crazy some of the plays are. You're gonna see someone headshot someone across the map, turn around, do the same thing at point blank when someone's rushing them. So I think it has the longevity and like excitement to stay prominent, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like they've taken a lot of things from the other battle royale games that they realized were kind of like not long lasting or like maybe flaws exactly, and kind of are even from like Overwatch. You mentioned people getting invested in the character they're maining. We see that happen with Overwatch now. There's 27 characters now, and people very heavily main characters. Sometimes they one trick them, and when you change a person's character, people are very invested in that character change. I can see the same thing happening here with Apex.
Absolutely, and the good thing is they were smart about how they released the game. It was like very under the radar, like no one had heard anything. The 3 days before there's a rumor, the next day it's like, oh, it's going to release Monday. Then on Monday they tweet out, we're going to do this stream, and here we go. So
yeah, where do you see it's going with like broadcasting of Apex?
It'll take a little more time. The actual like streaming competitive side of it is really going to come down to Apex and Respawn Entertainment, who made Apex. They're going to have to figure out some of the logistics in that. They need to really set up like custom lobbies with spectator modes to create that like exciting kind of esports view where you're going to be able to see on a map, this is where everyone is, and then kind of zoom in to see individual perspectives. As of now, the way that it's kind of being broadcasted, at least in Twitch Rivals, which is the major way that Apex esports is going right now, the way it really works is you have casters kind of on stream talking about standings, the game itself. And then from there, the only real footage you can see is if you go to an individual stream or if you pull up a multi-stream. So right now, it's not as easy to produce as people would like. But with time, they're going to add custom lobbies, things like that, which will make tournaments easier to run, scrims easier to run, and also easier to broadcast. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to figure out a way where CGL's Apex can set up a kind of casting for it, probably using multi-Twitch. So that'll be exciting. You guys should definitely look forward to that.
And if I'm a player or anyone really that wants to get more invested into Apex with CGL or in the scrims or the tournaments, where do I go to find that information?
So I'm sure there's a link on the actual CGL website. But if you don't know where it is, just type in discord.me/CGLApex. That will give you the link to the CGL Apex server. From there, you'll be able to get roles, talk to other people, staff, admins, if you're an org owner, scout, whatever, and you want to kind of branch out with your org and you want to pick up players to your roster, you'll be able to get the role and then you'll be able to advertise for your org. And if you're a player and you want to be signed to a team or you want to join in, get things going, same deal. Join the server. It's discord.me/CGLApex. You'll be able to get the roles, say if you're PS4 or Xbox, your region, whether you want to do scrims and tournaments, neither or both, or you just want to be there to talk, find people to play with. It's really easy, really active server too, and the staff is really helpful. A lot of the org reps themselves are really helpful. They've done a really good job of both recruiting teams, but also like helping people out if they have questions, things like that. So come check out the server. We'll get links posted and everything to make it easier to find later on.
Awesome, thanks a lot, man. So, Matt, we're not just doing Apex, we're doing all the stuff now, aren't we?
No, we're getting into a lot of fun things here. So obviously we've hit the ground running with Apex. Sounds like it's freaking going phenomenal. That's awesome. We also, if you head on over to www.consolegamingleague.com/events, I've started utilizing this page here, and the first thing you will see is that CGL is presenting Console Kombat, a weekly series starting May 10th for $500. Looks like both $500 per console, free to enter. Registration opens April 26th. Mortal Kombat, obviously a very popular game that has survived all the consoles, all the generations of games, everything. This has potential to be something amazing. A free to enter mini series, basically weekly tournaments, all for a grand prize for a great fighting game. That's going to be incredible. Getting our hands in there. I know we had a Smash Brothers tournament a couple weeks ago. These fighting games, there's that possibility there. So if you're into that, if that's your niche of games, get those roles, get into those channels, get involved with that. It's going to be a big thing, especially, while we're in this off season from Overwatch and everything. It's different. It's time to shine for different games. You can get on out there, get your name out there, and, hey, become a force. Enter these tournaments, have some great competitive matches, have some great competitive fights, and you have an opportunity to win some straight cash. So that's always a good thing, and that will be great to look forward to. And, I'm sure we'll have that broadcasted and have all the details of that event and all of that and more. But keep on that tab because we're integrating the Google Calendar onto that as well. So the Google Calendar is going to be up, linked, working, going with the flow of all that. Same thing with the event page on the website. Really, the website will be your hub for all the information, and then you pass that all along in our Discord server and get hype and get ready to see a lot of fun video games and a lot of fun action head your way pretty soon here. We're a month away from this Mortal Kombat tournament, so that's that's exciting. And I think Mortal Kombat 11 is dropping soon, or if that's the game that they're doing it on. Let me see. I don't know. Not sure when Mortal Kombat 11 comes out, but hey, it's still going to be awesome. So pick up your sticks, get ready, practice, get Scorpion and Sub-Zero involved, maybe a little Liu Kang, and get ready to participate in this tournament.
Yeah, probably should be a little bit more of a button smasher than me though. I don't know any of the combos, but I know I have muscle memory combinations that seem to work. I don't know how they work, but the mechanics behind them, but I'm very good at button mashing. But for sure, like Matt mentioned, head on the website, you can see the events page. You can add that calendar to your own personal calendar, so you get notifications when those things are coming up and the timelines for those. You can see the listing of all our stuff in comparison to all of our games. And head on the CGL Discord. Make sure you have the roles in the Discord in the Get Roles channel for all the games you want to pay attention to, because you'll get pings, you get notifications, and you have to discuss and ask questions about the events that are happening, including for Apex. But don't worry, we haven't forgotten about Overwatch either. We know that obviously we have our postseason, everything that's happening right now. That we are branching to Overwatch. As we are branching to other games, Overwatch is still, our default bread and butter that we've done for so many years now. And we're gonna be going to the postseason. We're delivering a little bit more enhanced coverage of these games, so there's fewer games, which allows us to dedicate a little bit more time to covering those games. And we'll probably see, as the playoffs start getting picked up, you'll see more content from us surrounding those, and some nice promotion, trying to bring up the hype between some of the big matchups that might be going up here. And of course, in these last period of time here, we've had some good plays from people. We've something a little bit of a standard thing we do here in the breakdown. We show off everybody's top plays they've submitted to us. So I think we can kick the ball rolling on those.
Yo, what's up, Epic Gamers? I'm your host, Basic, here with the top 10 plays from CGL Week 9. We had some phenomenal submissions this week, so I just want to start out by saying thank you for all the interaction and feedback we've had over the last couple weeks. The clips just keep getting better and better. For those of you who have never submitted a clip, I'm going to do a brief run-through to catch you up. So what you're first going to want to do is head to xboxclips.com or Xbox Game DVR, or any one of those clip websites. After that, just simply find your clip. And finally, copy and paste the link in the Turning Top Play Submissions channel located in the CGL Discord. And now that we have that out of the way, let's see what the CGL community had to offer from Week 9. Starting us off here at number 10 is Utility X with this absolutely absurd Baptiste combo play. Now, with the first of many appearances in this top 10, we have Hairball with a fantastic EMP to open up a fight with. Throwing it over to that number 8 spot is Chicken178 with an incredible Earth Shatter block and return play. Number 7 this week is going to Dark Matter 9898, who had a great Deadeye on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Time Zone clinches our number 6 spot with a swift Sombra elimination spree.
That's a huge early pick yet again for Space. We've seen him getting these picks all the time. That's also Phoenix low in the back. Time Zone just doing some assassin's work and also throws the EMP. Why the heck not? Time Zone, have yourself a day, my friend. Just gets the aggression going. Lets everybody walk forward a little bit more. 2 early picks along with the rest of the frags coming through. A 15-player kill streak for Time Zone.
And now, number 5 is going to be taken by Doomed Godot with this crazy Nano Blade on Lunar Colony.
And they're just enabling Doom Godot to do anything he wants here. He does just that, gets the nano boost, pops the blade, shuts down the push immediately. He's been doing it all game, just absolutely popping off. We're wondering why this guy's the rank 1 player. You see it right.
Flying into number 4 is Ocean BIM with a self-destruct combo along with a Graviton cancellation. For number 3, well, I'll let Knight Rider explain this play by Hairball.
Hairball coming through at the end.
Our number 2 play this week goes to Crazy Joe for this extremely unusual but gigantic Earth Shatter.
They do a little hollow around Andrew, but the team supports him, and then he throws out the Crowd Feast, and then the Shatter comes down. I'm baffled by this. Venom Andrew was caught completely out of position. He calls it out. Danny DeVito completely go back him up. That right there, Billy, that is teamwork.
Before we reveal our number 1 play, I wanted to jump over to a few honorable mentions. This first one is going to be Splixer's Torb Hammer Rampage in Space's match versus Astrantia.
Self-destruct, yeah, that's gonna do it. 6 minutes on the clock. Watch point Gibraltar, that's Space pushing into this point 3. Oh no! I didn't get it, Splitzer!
There it is.
Is that the first death? Oh, another hammer kill! Right as I'm saying that, Splixer's still just having fun, but was that the first kill?
Our second and final honorable mention will feature an interesting strat ran by Paradox Eclipse, put together by Really
Are
Neat.
they just... Oh, what? They're just sitting on the... Okay, I don't know if they're leaving... This is crazy! I can't believe we allow this to happen! Quite Short is just sitting on this little conveyor belt. He's got a Zenyatta too, and he's got Narissa. They're just gonna sit on this high ground, and they're just gonna shoot the whole time. How are you even supposed to counter this? How are you even supposed to get up there? I don't know. Ocean, what would you do in this situation if you are Easy Esports? What would you try to put together?
I would leave the game.
Now back on to a more serious note. Our top play from Week 9 will be given to Hairball after making this amazing EMP to stop Orion Shatter and turn the tide of a fight.
That far, because Sombra is just, she's powerful, no matter what.
No, absolutely. And Hammer getting a nice wild charge there into ice. Reform True taking down Chicken with the help of Hairball. And someone said...
That's going to conclude our countdown for you all today. Thank you so much for checking it out. My name is Basic, and if you enjoyed it would make my day if you check me out on Twitch at BasicPMA, as well as Twitter with that same handle, and then also on YouTube under the name Basic, spelled B-A-Y-S-K. Again, on behalf of CGL, thank you all for your fantastic submissions and support, and I'm super stoked for the kinds of plays that we're going to see in the playoffs. Make sure you're all drinking water. Peace.
Selection of top plays there. Sorry about my lovely technical difficulty issue. No problem on anyone but my Discord server. But you saw the top plays. Fantastic work. Thank you to all the players who submitted clips. And hey, putting that together, that's a phenomenal job.
Let's Basic.
Now, Basic, you did a phenomenal job yet again. I know you've been doing these for a couple weeks now. You're killing it, dude. Keep it up. But let's open it up to questions in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, feel free to type out any questions you have in Twitch chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. It is, if you're wondering, the weather is very good today, and my favorite color is gold and black. You're welcome.
Gold and black. Interesting choice.
Yeah, feel free to hit me hard-hitting questions like those.
Get inside the head of Headrammer. Ask your questions now. Should be working on it tonight. It'll be up tomorrow before I leave work, which will be 5 p.m. EST. Am I here?
Yeah, there you are there.
Okay. Question was asked: when will tiebreakers be implemented and put in, and everything up and correct on the website? It'll be done by tomorrow evening, which will be Monday, April 8th, around 5 p.m. EST. I'll make a post that I normally post in the captain's chat when everything's up and ready to be looked at. So get excited for that. Hopefully we'll have it done before then, but I like to set deadlines for myself. So all that'll be up. A reminder that we have a Tier 3 NA XB1 game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That has some playoff implications. So if you're in that tier, you might want to check that out. Could be looking at future opponents for yourself. So, hey, all your information is going to be out for you by Tuesday morning. You can have a cup of coffee, read the newspaper. No one reads newspapers anymore, but you'll be able to start scouting who you're playing and what the potential matchups are, and get ready for exciting playoff action. So get ready for that. That'll be fun. And is anything popping up in the good old Twitch chat?
Yeah, so it looks like we had a question here from Vince Spacey asking if about CGO's thought on PS4 EU, and I can just say we love all our regions and platforms equally. If there's any way you can think we can improve our support of one or the other, seriously, just shoot it our way. Our DMs are always open, and if there's any way in which we're treating one inadequately, we want to get that fixed. Then we got another question about the next fighting game tournament and when that is. Do any of you guys happen to know that? I don't think we have any of our fighting game people in this one, but it should be actually on the events calendar most likely, which is a nice point.
Right. Definitely peep the events calendar. Mortal Kombat coming up in May, so that'll be exciting. Maybe a couple other things in the works as well. We don't have any of the fight game leads in here that have the low-key juicy information that even we don't have. So,
yeah. Yeah, I think we're working to do a lot of weekly stuff for fighting games such as Smash and Mortal Kombat eventually as well. Then I see another question though, who's the best CGL staff member? I'm curious to see what you guys think of this.
It's a three-way tie between Ed Rammer, Swift, and Sultan.
I thought you were about to say it's a three-way tie between everybody in this video. I thought you were about to say.
No, you do it. Right now, we'd be a lot worse off if we have you three. I'd probably have no hair.
You have no hair. So I see another question asking about the All-Star Weekend, when it's going to happen. I don't believe we have the firm details exactly when it's going to happen, Hairball, but we are definitely in the process of figuring out the format we want to take for it this time. Because of its how much things have expanded from last season to this one, we have to make sure whatever format we do is scalable to all platforms and regions. And there's some things we want to take away that we learned from last time, some things that worked well, some things that didn't. And we're firming up those details now, and it should be, I believe it's going to be after the finals, if I recall correctly. But we'll have more information on that in the near future. And historically, I see Vince Spacey asking how All-Star is decided. Historically, it's been players from playoff teams that are in the playoffs, that are then kind of elected by their teams. Historically, we'll see if that remains the same, but that's what it was in the past. Yes, is there any other questions? Don't see any more yet, but we'll give it a few more, a little bit more time before we call it there.
Keep it tight. Compete about favorite dogs, favorite colors.
What's your favorite dog?
I'm a sucker for a German Shepherd, man.
Okay.
Me and mates back in college had a couple. They're smart dogs. They're a lot of work, but so beautiful and so awesome. Great dogs. Although any dog is a good dog.
See, someone asking. I see one final question here. I think we'll just call it after this one right here. It says do you guys miss OXC? Actually, I do to a degree miss OXC a little bit. You know, it's always nice to have that nostalgia. For those who don't know, OXC is what we used to call ourselves. Which we've gone through a few little name changes over the years. As one, originally we had to change to community due to couldn't have league in the name, but now we have the whole, you know, license so we can do such a thing. But no, yeah, definitely, it's always nice to see people that have been around since the olden days, and people that just stuck with us all this time and are still contributing and still enjoying being a part of the community. What do you guys? Have you? I know Matt's obviously been around since OXC. Just I don't know. I'm actually not sure how long you've been around.
Nope. I joined in December.
So you're basically.
Oh, yeah, you're fresh.
I'm a noob. What can I say?
Yeah, that's what we need. We need those fresh perspectives.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Mr. Apex. All right then. Since there doesn't seem to be any more questions, I guess we'll call it there. Matt, do you have any final words you want to say?
Doug, just want to take the time to thank everybody for, one, watching us, two, participating in our Overwatch tournament if you did, three, for participating in the Apex tournament yesterday, and excited to see that grow. So thanks hey, grinding with us, participating in the new games that we're trying to venture out into. So our success and what we do with that comes from what you guys make of it. So appreciate all of that, appreciate the participation, and just excited for the playoffs. We've been lucky to have literally every season or every tournament for Overwatch we've had. The playoffs have just been incredible to watch, especially now with this expansion. I think last season was our best set of playoff matchups from top to bottom throughout the 5 tiers that we had. This year, it's probably going to completely blow that out of the water. So it'll be really exciting. Good luck to all the teams involved. And hey, thanks to my boys that are here, Chiss, Headrammer, Sultan, you guys making the show run as smoothly as possible. And I love you guys, and we'll be back at this soon enough.
Yeah, we know we've been a little inconsistent with our scheduling of the show, but we're hoping to keep it consistent here for the playoffs and finals.
Yeah, thank you guys for bringing me on today to the breakdown to talk about everything, and big shout out to the CGL for kind of letting me just take up the reins on Apex, and I've only been here for like a few months. If you guys hadn't let me do that, we probably wouldn't, or I wouldn't be where I am now, at least in terms of responsibility and all that, and it's been a lot of fun. Shout out to the Apex staff. You know, the tournament staff in particular, Lawrence and Tiger, like completely set up the tournament, ran it, made it run incredibly smooth. So that was huge. Yeah, shout out to everyone who participated, because if no one participates, then, you know, we're kind of doing this for no reason. So you guys give us a reason to keep running things and all that. And if you have any more questions about Apex stuff, DMs are open. So hit me up.
Absolutely. All right, then.
Phenomenal show. We'll be back.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
We'll be back next week.
Thank you again, guys.